Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name's Shadowwraith and today I'm going to be going over the Plagueburst Crawler. Now, it is a favourite at the moment, being pretty solid, probably one of the hardest tanks to take down at the moment, other than something ridiculously big from Forge World like Lords of War and stuff like that. But it's solid. It's solid. Costing you about 160 points to about 170, depending if you give it all the bells and whistles. But if you don't, you can have it quite cheap, or you can invest more points into it. So, what are these guys good at? Well, we'll look at the stat block first. So they start off with a movement of 9 inches, so a little bit slower than most tanks, but it's heavy. Weapon skill 6+, because it's a tank. It is strength 7, toughness 8, 12 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 8, and a 3+ save. Very nice, very nice. And it obviously degrades after taking damage, and it is not too bad. It goes down from movement 9 to 6 and then 4, and then it stays at BS5 from 4 afterwards. It doesn't go to BS6, which is quite nice. And it drops in strength by 1 point per so many wounds you take. So, yeah, I think if you take over 6 wounds, you drop down to strength 6. And then if you take 3 more, you're down to 5. Special rules. Of course, it's got disgustingly resilient. It is Nurgle, Death Guard. Fantastic. It is demonic because it's a demon engine, giving you that 5+ invulnerable save, and it explodes slightly easier on a 5+. And everyone within 6 suffers D3 mortal wounds. Very nice, very nice. And it has got Hateful Assault, because why not? It's obviously Nurgle, Heretic Astartes, Death Guard, Chaos. Pretty solid tank. Now we're going to move on to breaking down how you would use these tanks in your competitive games. Or friendly. Depends how mean or horrible you want to be. So, quickly we'll have a look at their weapons they come with. So, he is equipped with a Plagueburst Mortar, Heavy Sluggers, and 2 Plague Spitters. So, the Plague Spitters, 9-inch range, Assault D6, Strength User. So the strength is important, so it'll be strength 7, -1 AP, 1 damage. It's a plague weapon and auto hits. Very nice. Heavy Slugger, 36-inch range, heavy 4, but you're ignoring the heavy because you're a tank now, and we're in 9th edition. Strength 5, -1, 1 damage, not too bad. And we've got the Plagueburst Mortar, 12 to 48 inches, so it's got a minimum range. It is a blast weapon, before anyone says anything. And it's got heavy D6, which isn't a crazy amount of shots, but it's pretty solid because it's strength 8, -2 D3 damage. It's a plague weapon, and it can fire at units not visible to it. So, first impression, I've got artillery in my head. Sit them on a back line or sit them on a back objective and fire down hell upon your enemy. Quite nice and easy. Very good at taking out heavier infantry. Obviously, it's going to squish light infantry. It's not too bad. You can shave a few wounds off tanks with it. With its Plagueburst Mortar, being strength 8, -2 D3 is not bad at all with heavy D6. But we've got access to other things. So we can upgrade the Heavy Slugger to an Rot Hail Volley Gun, 24-inch range, heavy 3, strength 6, -2, 1 damage. Now, bear in mind the Heavy Slugger is free. It's got a better range. It's got an extra shot. Yeah, it does the same damage. Okay, so if you really want to spend some points, because you're going for more of an assault tank, we'll talk about that in a minute, you can lower the range, lose 1 shot, but increase 1 strength and 1 AP. The difference between strength 5 and strength 6 is quite substantial. There's a lot of toughness 3, so you'll be wounding on 2s rather than 3s, but if most of the time you're probably going to be fighting Space Marines, let's be honest, so it won't really make that much of a difference. But again, it's entirely up to you. Now, if you don't want your Plague Spitters, you can upgrade them for Entropy Cannons for 36-inch range, heavy 1, strength 8, -4 D6 damage. Not bad. Shame it's not a plague weapon. That's pretty much it. So, like I said, first impression, artillery vehicle. If you want to build it for an artillery vehicle, I would strongly recommend you get Entropy Cannons on it. I know it's only hitting on 4s because it's got a ballistic skill of 4, probably 5 if there's any -1s about. Yeah, not great, but there are ways around this, okay? Because the entropy cannon is actually solid. It's solid for killing multi-wound heavy infantry. It's solid for punching through tanks. So why not? And you can harass the enemy with it from a distance, which works very nicely with your Plagueburst mortar, which wants to sit at the back and fire over buildings. Now, saying that, it can make a very effective assault tank. So you stick the Plague Spitters onto it, and I mean, you can put the Rothel volley gun on it if you want, but the whole point of that, if you're going for the assault vehicle build, is you literally rush it forward, and you're going to be spraying people with your Plague Spitters, firing with a mortar at whatever is over the minimum range. And let's be honest, he's tough. He's tough as nails, and you can make him incredibly tough. So he's also quite a very nice bullet magnet. He will sponge up a lot of shots. But we're going to get into the synergies side of it. So we'll see what they can do, and I'll go over stratagems after that. So, synergies, wow, it all comes down to what's new. Unless you're unaware, there's a new thing in 40k that's coming out, which will revolve around the core keyword. So certain units will have the core keyword. They won't all be like troop choices. Some elite choices will have some fast attack. It'll be completely random and up to whoever writes the codexes. But a lot of abilities, like lieutenant abilities or chaos lord abilities, will only affect core units. As it stands now, you're good to get your reroll ones to hit on your Plagueburst Crawlers, because that's what it was. You'd stick a chaos lord with them, get the reroll ones to hit aura, happy days. He's going to sit there and he's going to babysit your Plagueburst Crawlers, give them that. But that might change. But of course we're getting a Lord of Vigilance, because he was shown when they did the previews of the new Death Guard stuff and the new codexes, and we know for a fact he is going to be giving you some good synergy with your demon engines, because that's his job. He leads demon engines in and stuff like that. So we have got some buff options. No idea what they're going to be, but they'll be there. But for now, your reroll ones for your Chaos Lords or Demon Princes will work. Will work. And of course, my first suggestion is you're going to whap the Arch Contaminator Warlord trait on your Warlord if you're going to stick him with, if you're going for like quite a, I want to say a gunliney kind of army. If you're going to be investing heavily on Plagueburst Crawlers, so go for 3, which is a very popular number to bring. It's very effective. You might as well invest a little bit more into it with a Warlord trait, because it will allow you to reroll wounds for your plague weapons. And there aren't that many standard. Your Plagueburst Mortal is a plague weapon. Your Plague Spitter is a plague weapon. But there are ways around this, and we'll get into that in a second. But one person did let me know that they work quite well in Nurgle Demons, because they got the Demon keyword, Nurgle keyword, so they benefit quite happily with Nurgle Demons, and they can get certain buffs for killing stuff. Basically, you can get extra toughness, extra strength, and reroll ones. So there's an option to put them in your Demons list if you want. Nurgle Demons, mind you. But here we go. We're going to go for the full synergy, what you can do with these bad boys. Let's make them competitive. Okay. So, first thing you're going to do, you've got a few options here. Like I said, you want a Lord or someone with Arch Contaminator. I'd say a Lord for now, until we find out more. Stick Arch Contaminator onto him. And if you're going for a Demon Engine heavy list, the Poxmongers are a very good legion to take. Not only is it work like thematically right, but you get the Ironclop Furnace, which is an amazing relic. So basically, models in the Poxmongers Demon Engine units from your army have a 4+ invulnerable save, whilst they're within 7 inches of a friendly model with this relic. Again, you can put it onto said Lord if you want, and that makes them ridiculously hard to kill. Absolutely ridiculously hard to kill. It's insane, okay? If you don't want to run Poxmongers, the other alternative I would suggest is the Inexorable. If I've said that correctly, hopefully. So, basically, why would you bring them? Well, they've got some pretty tasty tactics or stratagems. So, you've got the Ferric Miasma. So, you use the stratagem in your opponent's charge phase when one of your units from your army is chosen to be a target of a charge, and it's declared for an infantry unit, subtract 2 from the charge roll. So, that's quite nice if they're trying to charge your gun line. Absolutely brilliant. And then on top of that, you've also got the Ferric Blight Warlord trait. If you really want to take that, that's another option. But that's for a different build. We're going for a gunliney build here. Okay, so I would go for the Poxmongers absolutely, just to get that invan save for counter shooting. So if you're going against Imperial Fists or something like that, or anything with lots of las, anything, it's really good. Now, here's where it gets fun. We're going to look at some stratagems we're going to chuck on these guys. So the first one, if you're going for the range build, this is what we're covering first, then I'll do the assault tank build. You're going to go for accelerated entropy, 1 command point, and basically what that does is you pick a Plagueburst Crawler from your army until the end of the battle. Okay? Entropy cannons that model and all friendly Plagueburst Crawler models within 7 inches of that model are equipped with have the following ability. Plague Weapon. So they get a Plague Weapon. When resolving an attack made with this weapon, a damage roll of a 1 or a 2 counts as a 3 instead. Fantastic. That is absolutely bonkers. That is too cheap. Take advantage. So if you're bringing more than one of these bad boys, absolutely must take this stratagem. Whap it on 1 command point. It is a bargain. Yep, without a doubt. Now, the other stratagem that is quite useful, I find, is the Overwhelming Generosity, where you select a Death Guard unit from your army, excluding cultists or poxwalkers, and until the end of the phase, add 6 inches to the range of the plague weapons. So that now includes your entropy cannons, but also your Plagueburst mortar. Fantastic. Absolutely awesome deal. Yeah. So if you have got people like enemies right on the back line that are holding an objective, you haven't got any super, obvious targets in front of you, why not drop a shell right on top of them? Or if they've got some kind of bunker going on at the back there, they're castling up, and you don't want to get closer to them, you can start outranging people with that plus 6 inches. And it's 1 CP. And yeah, 3 of them, they've got 2 entropy cannons each. Okay, you've got longer range, and all of them are going to be re-rolling ones to hit, re-rolling all failed wounds, and they are also doing a minimum of 3 damage a pop. That increases their killing power, so much. So much. Yeah, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It's very scary and very hard to deal with. You screen them with either Plague Marines. You can bring Poxwalkers if you want, but Poxwalkers they're hard unless you tailor your list around them. But yeah, screen them a little bit so nothing can charge them too easily, and you can sit back and shoot away whilst the rest of your army's moving forward. I say Plague Marines. Yeah. The second option of running these guys is the assault tank. So, how do we do an assault tank? Well, it's quite simple, really. We're going to give them Plague Spitters, firstly, straight away. Plague Spitters, and then if you want the Rothill Volley Gun, go for it. If not, the other one's fine. It's absolutely fine. Depends if you've got points spare. Now, it is absolutely your choice how you run this, but the Inexorable are fantastic for being our assault tanks, because they have the relic, the Leech Spore Casket, which basically, when a model is destroyed as a result made by a melee weapon by a model from your army with this relic, one friendly vehicle model within 18 regains up to 1 lost wound. Each model in your army can regain up to 3 lost wounds per turn as a result of this ability. So, yeah, that's really good. So if you've got a really killy lord or a demon prince with this, you can run them up with your Plagueburst Crawlers. If they take damage on the way in, absolutely no drama, because you're going to charge that squad of guardsmen and you're going to kill 3 of them. And that's 3 wounds within 18 inches, which is absolutely insane. Yeah, very, very scary. Then you've also got the Ferric Miasma, so they're harder to charge. And you can also, give them -1 AP because of your Warlord trait, but it's up to you. The other option for these guys is quite fun. We're going to go back to the Poxmongers again. Now, obviously, you're going to take the Ironclot Furnace for this if you're running them up with your Warlord, or just a character because it's just a relic. But the Warlord trait is not going to be useful for your Plagueburst Crawlers, so don't worry about it. But we have got the Bilious Blood Rush ability. For 1 CP, you select 1 Poxmonger Demon Engine from your unit in the army. Until the end of that phase, that unit can shoot in a turn in which it fell back, which makes it very useful. Very, very useful, especially if they're up in front of the enemy anyway, and you don't want to shoot at what's in front of you. Plus, you've got a blast weapon on you, so you can't shoot that in combat. Not bad at all. So, yeah. I personally prefer the artillery line. So 3 of them, stick someone with Arch Contaminator with them, whap the accelerated entropy stratagem on them. Happy days. You're going to shred people with that, or hurt them a lot. The good thing about these guys is they are very scary, so they will absorb a lot of fire, which means the rest of your army is not. So you can push them forward a little bit as well, because they are tough enough to take it. They are really tough enough to take it. Especially if you're going Poxmongers with the 4-up invulnerable save. It takes an ungodly 15 las cannons to reliably take one down, unless they roll like gods. But yeah, it's insane. And then once you do get into combat, if you're going for an assault tank build though, you've got Putrid Detonation, so you can auto explode one of your tanks to do D3 mortal wounds to everyone, which is scary. It's very good against Custodes, because if you get your assault tank straight up into them, shooting on the way, and they get charged and he dies, you spend 1 CP and you do D3 mortal wounds that they can do nothing about. No matter, they got 2-up save, don't care. Got a 4-up invuln, 3-up if they're a hero, don't care. There's D3 mortal wounds. It's really fun. So, to summarise, what can you use these guys as? Okay, you can go for the artillery build, which is what I like. So the cluster drop artillery, you need at least 3 of them, I'd say, to make them really effective, with all the buffs I said and the other things you want to add with them. You can use them as an assault tank to go up with your troops and basically give them lots of threats to deal with straight away, so they can't focus down one unit, and it helps you get across the board quite nicely. Along with that, you've got the objective holders, so they can literally babysit objectives while still firing down, so you don't need to do any special build with them whatsoever if you only bring them in a normal list. And of course, they are bullet sponges. They will soak up fire for you, so your Plague Marines can get closer, or your Poxwalkers, or whatever you're running. They are very solid, quite cheap for what they can do, and very competitive, in my opinion. Anyway, if you think I've missed anything, do let me know in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed the video, do hit the like button. And if you're feeling especially generous, do consider subscribing. But even if you don't do either of those things, I still hope you have an absolutely fantastic day and keep nurgling on. Goodbye.